Hello and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I've laid out some cards and these are from the Druid Plant Oracle deck. I think I have shown this Oracle deck in a previous video. The reason I've laid out these cards, these are all plants and herbs that you may be able to grow in your garden. And I'll just run through what we've got. We have burdock, lady's mantle, mint, woad, mugwort, yarrow and comfrey. All these plants have medicinal purposes, and I wanted to make a video on what I want to plan to do now going forward into 2026. I have a garden. Within the garden we have a raised fish pond which has some goldfish in it, 13 goldfish actually, rescue goldfish. We also have quite a substantial hedge with a planter along one side. We have a shed that takes up basically almost the width of the garden at the bottom of the garden, a lawned area, and next to the pond outside our back door we have a conservatory. So outside the conservatory door is a decked area. It isn't, at the moment, it isn't anything fancy, it isn't anything very, it hasn't been landscaped, we haven't had it designed in any way. Over the years the garden has changed as our needs have changed, and at the moment though it has been a little bit neglected in the sense that there isn't much in the way of what's growing there. It needs a bit of love and a bit of TLC, and that's what I want to do this year, but do it in a very frugal way. And what I've pulled these cards out from the Druid Plant Oracle deck really to represent the direction I would like to go in with the planting and the plants and herbs that I have in my garden. As I've said, all these plants that are here all have medicinal purposes. And in recent months I've been thinking and reading and researching a lot about the use of plants and herbs medicinally. A lot of people do this, and there is a considerable health benefits from many, I mean probably thousands and thousands of species of plants. There's lots of health benefits from them, and I really would like to think about growing some plants that we can use to supplement and also help improve our health. The garden, as I say, needs some TLC, but I don't want it to become some very, how would I describe it? Very formal or stiff or stylized kind of garden where it's all shrubs and bedding plants and things like that. They have their place. I don't want that. I want a garden where the garden is serving and helping me. I want a garden where we can improve the habitat for wildlife. I want a garden where I am growing things that are going to help me and my family, as well as having a garden where you can have some space to relax in. We do have that at the moment at the bottom of the garden. As I say, there's a large shed. My husband has most of his tools and things like that in there. And in front of that is a cobbled area where we do have a table and chairs that can stay outside all year round. We got them towards the very end of the summer last year, and it's a nice space to be, that's shaded as well. So when it's really hot, you can be out of the full sun and just sit and relax. It isn't very big. I don't know the measurements, but it isn't very big. I may well put a short on the channel to show the garden and maybe show the progress of the garden as time goes on. But today was really where my head is about what I want to do with the garden. I also want to grow some food. Again, we haven't got a huge amount of space, but I feel that we're not utilising the space as well enough as we could do. So I pulled these cards, as I say, to represent some of the plants that I want to grow in terms of helping us medicinally. And by that, what do I mean? Well, as an example, a lot of these plants that are here, the leaves and the flowers can be used both in you making teas, making something that's called a tincture. It can also be used, ground down and used in lotions and creams if you want to go further than that. as well as being used in your cooking. So there's lots of different ways you can use any of these plants that you grow. Now, all of these plants you would find it out in the wild, so to speak, and in nature. I would like to get plants. I don't want plants that have, as they would call them, cultivators. I don't want a domesticated, cultivated variation on these plants as much as possible. And I know that a lot of these plants you can look for and find online and in local garden centres like Mugwort and Woad. I won't necessarily grow all of these. I think I'll start off simple. I also want to grow more herbs to use again medicinally and also within my cooking, as I feel our health is important to us. I think we are at the point where we recognise, and I say we, I mean my husband and I and my son, my family, recognise that we need to be prioritising our health. And I think at the moment everybody needs to be prioritising their health. My husband and I do have some health issues, each of us, and improving our health means hopefully improving these health conditions. Maybe not eradicating them, but making our health far, far better. I think as well, on a spiritual level, anything you can do to nurture nature within your garden, within your little world. Gardening is known to be very good for your mental health as well, and I think anything you can do to improve the situation in your little space for nature is worth doing, and all of this will be beneficial for nature. So I'm hoping to show the progress of this through my YouTube channel. I think what I will do is take a short video as soon as possible of my garden as it is at the moment, and maybe YouTube channel can document the progress that I make and what I'm growing and what I'm doing in my garden, what I'm changing, what works, what doesn't work, what is a success, what isn't a success. That's what I'm hoping to do. I want to do this not only for our own health and well-being on a physical level, but our health and well-being on a mental and emotional level, our spiritual well-being, and learn as well. And I'm sure as I go on, I will learn an awful lot. Gardening is relaxing. It is good for you. It can have many benefits on many different levels, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve. And I think the shift for me will be from growing what is kind of commonplace, usual or standard plants that you might find in an urban garden, such as a variety of shrubs, a variety of bedding plants, plants that you would often find and are bought and sold in garden centres. I would like to get away from that, have not necessarily a very, well, there will be structure in the garden, but I don't want a rigid space. I want something that is relaxing. It might be a little bit messy. I want it to be welcoming for wildlife and just be useful for us as well. When you see gardens that have loads of beautiful flower beds with incredible flowers and plants growing, and they look spectacular often, and that's lovely to have something like that to look at. But I feel the space that I've got, I want to make use of. So this is a start. It will be a slow process. If you know anything about gardening, you know that certainly buying plants from a garden centre can work out expensive. So there's also an element here of me trying to be as frugal as I can with what we do within the garden, and working out ways we can make the garden as we want it without spending too much money. As I said, we have a pond in the garden. That's not going anywhere. That also needs some work doing to it. We've got 13 goldfish in there. They bring me great pleasure looking at them, watching them swim around. So we'll work on that. We also have a garden that is almost south facing. So when it's sunny, particularly in the afternoon, it gets very hot out there. There's parts of the garden that get very hot. So there's elements such as that, where there is sun, where there is shade, which direction the wind will often blow in, that you need to take account of as well when you're planting in a garden and deciding what to do. the part of the garden that gets real full sun, that might be really good to grow a lot of the herbs that come from the Mediterranean area, such as lavender. They would probably thrive in a really hot, sunny place. I have several ferns in the garden. They are in a shaded place because they prefer the dark, shaded, wet areas if they were in a woodland. So it's taking account of all of that as well, which I know a lot of people, there'll be lots of YouTube videos out there on what to do about that and how to think about those things when you come to gardening. But this is what I need to do. So moving forward, I want to do some more research around plants that we can use for our health and well-being, and herbs as well, although herbs are essentially plants. Think about where in the garden I can grow some of these plants, and then actually getting them and planting them and giving it a go. We're in February now. In a few more weeks, once we get into March, let's hope the weather improves and becomes a bit warmer, and that will be the start of everything taking off in terms of nature and trees and plants growing and really getting vigorous. So I want to get stuff planted as soon as I can and start getting out there in the better weather, tending to my garden, and then using what I'm growing, using it for teas and health remedies and cooking as much as possible. Hopefully it will also save me some money as well. So I hope people find this interesting. I really would like to carry on with this, maybe make it like a little series in my YouTube channel and the progress in my garden. As I say, I should try and get some photos of my garden and put them up maybe in a short or as a very short post on my channel. I think that would be helpful for people to see what I'm talking about and what I'm working with, and we'll go from there. So if there's anybody out there that is of a similar mind that wants to follow me on this journey and also doing a journey similar to me, please let me know. Please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe and watch for the further progress with the garden. Until then, blessings of the green. Take care. Thanks for watching.